To understand how they tracked you do that fast, you gotta rewind 31 hours back. Only this time, you're watching through the hunter's eyes. Guadalajara, Mexico. Just a normal office building, glass facade, 7th floors leased by a company called Marketing Research. That's the sign anyway. In reality, Cartel Cyber Unit. 8 people, 2 ex-NSA, 1 retired CIA analyst. The rest? Top grads from the US and Mexican universities. Starting salary? 30 grand a month. Nobody quits. There's only one way out of that job. Morning. The unit chief picks up the phone. Boss's right-hand man on the line. One sentence. Find whoever took our money. 48 hours. Unlimited budget. Government agencies get slowed down by paperwork. These guys don't get slowed down by anything. They're not bigging through server logs. They're not chasing IPs. First thing they do, they read your code. The script you wrote, that's your handwriting. Some way writers have a style. Coders do too. Variable names, comments, little tricks, patterns. It's all you. The cartel has its own database of hacker styles. Been building it for years. Buying leaked archives, scooping data from rival groups, former agent files. All of it. 2 hours in, they get a hit. Some style. Recent breach, sneaker store. Handle, Spectre. Now they start pulling everything that names ever touched. 5 years back. 10. Old forums, dead chat rooms, leaked dumps. Piece by piece, the picture starts forming. Active at night, US East Coast. Writes in English, mid-2000 slang, early 20s. You thought VPNs made you invisible. They don't. Everyone leaves a shadow. And these guys? They've got floodlights. And then they find it. Your one mistake. 3 years ago, you're 20, not paranoid yet, hanging out on some basic tech forum, asking about motherboard firmware. Username, Spectre. Through a VPN. But an hour before that, you logged into a retro game forum. Some connection, different username, no VPN. You forgot to turn it on for 15 minutes. 3 years ago, that was enough. The analysts cross-referenced IPs by timestamp through their bought leaked databases, linked the 2 usernames. The second username led to an old email. Email led to an abandoned Facebook account. The account had a phone number on it. Through a leaked Verizon database floating around the dark web, they got your name, last name, your address. A photo pops up on a monitor in Guadalajara. Prom picture. Some kid in a tux, a girl with a bouquet next to him. Spectre doesn't exist anymore. Now there's Michael Carter, 23, Queens, New York. They need to be 100% sure. The cartel doesn't kill the wrong person. That's bad for business. A call goes out to a private investigator in New York. 15 grand drops into his account. Job? Confirm the kid actually lives at that apartment. The PI parks across from your building one evening. Sits there till morning. Around 9:47 a.m. he zooms in and feels you taking out the trash. The video gets sent to Mexico. Software compares the face to the school photo. Match 99.7%. Feel closed. The case gets handed over to the operations team. Back to your room. Fans are humming. You're not even breathing. While you're dropping your whiskey glass 3 time zones away, there's already a team assembled. Tickets booked. Mexico City to Miami to New York. Through a front travel agency. 6 guys. Profs. They spent 31 hours on you. For the cartel, that's slov. They were just enjoying themselves. Hadn't run into anyone this cocky in a while. There's no such thing as perfect anonymity. You're sitting in front of a dead monitor. Going to the cops is pointless. Getting arrested for stealing 40 millions just turns you into a target the second you heat a holding cell. Running on your own? Too late. There's one option left. An urban legend from the dark web. People who don't sell fake IDs, they sell complete identity erasure. Price of admission? Half your money. The panic starts to fade. cold calculation kicks in. You wrote that emergency exit plan 3 years ago, basically as a joke. Now, it's saving your life. You pull the hard drives out of your towers. No formatting, that always leaves traces. You smash the platters with a hammer, melt the chips with a propane torch. SIMSDs you grind into dust. The smartphone? You crack the battery, SIM card goes in the toilet, the case goes in the trash. From a stash, you pull out a cheap burner Nokia, bought 3 months ago, cash, at some flea market. Powered on for the first time tonight. Your bug-out bag was packed weeks ago. Inside, 20 grand in small bills. 2 passports, your real one, and a solid Mexican fake. A laptop with no hard drive, only boots from an encrypted thumb drive. The Crown Jewels. 2 hardware crypto wallets sealed in epoxy resin. 40 million bucks on them. One stitched into the lining of your jacket, the other in the hollow heel of a winter boot. You don't take the elevator. That camera knows your face. You go up to the roof, cross over to the next building. Rusty fire escape. Down through some dead-end alley. No Uber, no Lyft, just random night buses. Ride 2 stops, get off, wait for the next one. By midnight, you're in a different part of Queens. Crappy little studio you rented 6 months ago. The drunk landlord took cash a year up front, no questions. You boot the laptop, tether off the Nokia. There's a private forum, the kind you only get into through a complicated chain of vouchers, and there's a user with a 1-letter handle, K. He doesn't make fake documents, he sells turnkey disappearances. Full package, new biography, spotless medical history, credit history, even fake relatives. Starting price? 5 million. You send a short query from a burner account. Reply comes back in 7 minutes. Number? 20 million. Exactly half of what you stole. Kay already knows who you actually are. That's his way of proving he's the real deal. You need a safe place to crash for 48 hours while the deal goes through. There's exactly one person online you can trust. His handle's Jake. 8 years ago, you two were hacking school servers in Brooklyn together. Now he's a respectable systems architect in Boston. 2 kids. You message him. Tell him you're in trouble. Ask if he can hide you for a couple of days. The reply comes back weirdly fast. For sure, bro. Come on up. I'll send you the address of my parents' place in the Catskills. Something inside you goes cold. 8 years of friendship. Jake has never once called you bro. Your gut is screaming. You shut it up. He's the last person on earth you can trust. Greyhound lines booze, overnight. A random hitchhike. 5 kilometers on foot through the woods. At 2 in the morning, you walk up to the house. A dime light's on in the windows. There's a guy sitting on the porch. It's not Jake. Buzz cut. Stiff posture. Ex-military or a cop. The man slowly stands up and flips open a leather wallet. Inside, a badge glints dully. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Jake sold you out. Reached out to his company's security team. They flagged it to the feds. The Panamanian bank money had moved through correspondent accounts at U.S. banks. That makes it a federal case. They played Jake, promised him immunity for the old school stuff. The agent doesn't pull a weapon, talks calm and even like a weatherman. You've got 3 options. Option 1, arrest right now. Trial, 25 years to life. In federal prison, the cartel's people will get to you inside a week. Option 2, we just leave. The team out of Mexico already touched down at Newark. They'll be here by morning. Option 3, witness protection. Total identity wipe. New name, new state. In return, you give back every penny down to the last cent, and you hand over the entire dark crypto exchange infrastructure you know. An hour ago, you were trying to buy a ghost life for 20 million. Now the government's offering the same deal, except they take everything. Silence. Some hear a dog barks. There's no choice. That's an illusion. All 3 doors led to the same empty room.
Michael Carter doesn't exist anymore. The only question is, who's going to chisel the date of death on his headstone? You node, Slew. The agent pulls out his phone. Confirmed. Initiate the protocol. The air runs out. Between that node on the porch and this morning, 14 months have gone by. Your old life dissolved into 600 hours of interrogations at a safe house somewhere in Virginia. You signed over $40 million down to the last Satoshi. Surgeons reshaped your nose, your cheekbones, your jawline, removed 2 distinctive moles on your neck. Dentists redid your teeth. Now your jaw x-ray doesn't match the old one. Michael Carter officially died of an overdose in a cheap motel in Jersey City. The body was cremated.
Whose ashes are actually in that urn, nobody will ever know. Your reality now. A tiny town in Montana. Population 2,000. Only gas station. Only school. A dinner. A church. 3 hours to the nearest big cheaty. 5 hours to the nearest airport. Winters here hit 30 below. Snow up to the rooftops. Summers are 95 degrees and the mosquitoes are the size of sparrows. United States Marshals Service doesn't pick tunes like this by accident. Where nothing has happened in decades, nothing can happen. Your name is Ryan Miller. You're 28. You grew up in Oregon, moved here after a rough divorce. You work as an auto mechanic at the local garage. A natural feel for machines, plus 2 years of crash courses, turned you into a halfway decent tech. Ryan Miller has a complete backstory. Yearbook photos, driver's license, medical records with all the childhood stuff. A Facebook profile that went dormant 5 years ago. The ex-wife, an actual actress under an NDA, ready to confirm to anyone over the phone that yeah, they got divorced, the asshole. Your cover story is more solid than most real people's actual lives. The main condition of the deal? No tech. They gave you a flip phone with crippled GPS, computer access only at the public library with the supervisor's cameras on you. No forums, no social media, no online games. For somebody who lived inside code for 8 years, this is like an amputation. Your fingers reach for a keyboard unreflect. At night, you dream of open terminals and scrolling logs. You wake up with phantom pain. The cartel hunted you by your digital footprint. The feds wiped your digital footprint along with your reason to exist. You rent a 1-story house on the edge of town. People here barely lock their doors. It's not a thing. Neighbors bring over homemade pie. A young waitress at the diner pours your coffee in the morning, and her smile lingers a beat too long. Her name's Emily. You can't remember the last time you talked to her for longer than a minute. You're completely, sterilely safe. The cartel will never find this address. They don't even know what continent you're on. But every morning starts with a cold sweat. An unfamiliar pickup at the gas station. That's them. A tourist with an accent. A scout. A call from an unknown number. Game over. They didn't whine when they found your address in Queens. They won the second you started believing they were unstoppable. You're 28, probably another 60 years ahead of you. 60 years of flinching every time a door slams. Friday night. You sitting in the local bar, cheap beer in front of you, college footballs on the TV, farmers at the next table arguing about fertilizer prices. Nobody here knows what quantum cryptography is. Nobody here can tell a zero-day exploit from a system crash. You're the smartest guy in a 100-mile radius, and it's completely useless. Out here, your brain isn't a superpower. It's an organ that's atrophying. Being the smartest is a gift when your mind runs your empire. It's a course when your biggest job of the day is buffing out a dent in some guy's pickup. You walk home, heavy snow falling. The tune shuts down at then. You walk past dark windows. In your hallway, you pull a tiny thumb drive out of the lining of your jacket, the one from the hollow boot heel. You lied to the feds, told them there was only one. There's 200 ground in Monero on the encrypted partition. Enough for new papers from K and one more vanishing act. You hold it in your hand every night. 14 months running, and every night you put it back. Because wherever you run, you're bringing yourself with you. And you can't stand yourself anymore. He was 17 when he first broke into someone else's system, 23 when he broke his own. The most dangerous prisons aren't built out of stone and steel. They're built out of the consequences of your own choices. And in those prisons, there's no parole. Outside, the snow falls in silence. Ryan Miller stares into the dark. Michael Carter stares back at him from inside it. Neither one says a word. There's nothing left for them to say.